And here we are, episode 2, the Vacuous Perspective. Shoot us an email, obviously. We've got an email address now. You know the email address, don't you? Don't you, Nate?
I certainly don't. Can you refresh my memory on that one?
Well, it's vacuousperspective@mail.com, I think.
Brilliant. There it is.
I think it is that anyway. I'll have to check.
We got to get that right.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
We're back. We talked some stuff last week, but that was last week. Now we got to talk about other stuff or the same stuff.
It's a new week.
So anything happened this week?
Things have happened.
Yeah, go on.
Lots of things happened, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Did 80Ks on the weekend, 80K run down in a portion of the Cape to Cape track.
Wow. Running?
80? Yeah, well, you're supposed to be running it, but I certainly didn't run the whole way. I was a bit worried, actually, because on the way down, I started to feel like all week I've been worried about COVID because you do a lot of training for this. And I actually didn't go to work on Wednesday, mainly just to avoid. It just seemed like everyone around me was sick. I'd heard so many stories, so many people with close contacts. So I was like, I can just work from home. So did that. Then, came in Thursday, Friday, left work halfway through the day to go down south. And then on the drive, I started to feel like I was coming down with something.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And my throat was sore. Everyone talks about one of the common symptoms is a sore throat, it seems.
Yeah.
Super sore. And it got worse over the course of like the night. Woke up, do a piss. And you know, when you sort of swallow and it kind of like, it's like razor blade-ish. And also there was a bit of phlegm, bit of mucus. Yeah. So I knew I was like, I'm in bad shape here. And I was actually just trying to concentrate on, sometimes you feel like you might just be able to mentally beat the illness.
Yeah.
Do you ever have that feeling?
Not that I'll mentally beat it, but that maybe I'm mentally creating it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was worried about. So maybe that's like bit of column A, bit of column B. I'm worried about that I'm just overthinking it. Chrissy's the girl across from her at work has came in for 2 days with COVID and was coughing and spluttering, and they were like, what are you doing? And she's like, and she was around a bunch of people that had it. So I don't know what the hell she's doing going into work. Anyway, I was a bit worried on the morning of, get up at 3:45. You get on the bus to take you down to the start line because it's an A to B run. So it's not a big circle. You start in one location and finish in a different one. And we're off at 6:15 in the morning. It went well until about, I'm at 64 Ks. I'm on my back I was on my back for a moment. Then I rolled over and was just projectile vomiting everywhere.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And I managed to grind out the finish, but it wasn't pretty.
Oh, man. That sounds like hell on earth for me. If you said run 50 Ks or you're dead, I'm dead. Do you understand? I will die that day. That is the end. If they said run 10 Ks or you're dead, I might live.
You probably cover 50 Ks over a year or something.
If they let me do that, I could probably do that. If they said you can space it out across the course of a year, I could maybe do that. They'd come to my door on the last day and knock, knock. Hey, man, 4 Ks to go, but this is the last day. And your best day so far was 2.5. That was your best day. Then I could die on the last day of the challenge.
Man, I thought I was dying. Hey, I felt so crook.
I have no idea what that means. Hey?
And the vomit came out of nowhere. So I laid down because
people do this for fun, right?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And no one's having a good time on the day. This is the weird thing. And then afterwards you look back on it, there's something about it. I don't understand it. I said to Christy, I was like, this is the last. I was like, can we promise that we're never doing an ultra again?
Last ultra. Is that right? Promise.
Last ultra. It's Christy's first one. Done a couple, and I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. This is
How many ultras have you done? A couple, you said.
I've done 3 or 4.
Okay, and what's the step down from that? Is that just a 40K?
Marathon, 42.
42.
42.195, I think, is the technical distance for a marathon.
What is that to make it so the American version is just a flat number somewhere?
Apparently, it was just 42, right? It came from the story of the Greek dude who had to run a certain distance to warn his village of like an attack or something. There's this famous story of some Greek dude. Yeah,
right.
he ran. That's the first marathon, and this is why they did it in the Olympics. There's some I don't know if it's a myth or a fable. I don't know if there's any truth to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were using the metric system then, right? But anyway, it was always 42, and then the London Marathon was one of the biggest ones. They increased. They had a set course for it, and they increased the distance so it finished at Buckingham Palace, so the Queen could see it, and that was the 42.195.
What? So they could run past the Queen and get the salute?
Well, maybe so the Queen can see the finish and not have to go anywhere.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. It would be particularly useful now that she's immobile.
Yeah, she's not even doing the address.
I hear that's the first time that's happened in 60-something years, which, how old is she again? In her 90s?
I think she's 97.
Ah, God.
She is an old bat.
She's an old lady.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so that was my weekend, and then I was recovering on Sunday. But
it sounds like a shit weekend, to be, if you want my opinion.
Finished in 12 and a half hours.
Okay, it sounds great. Like, I'm so impressed. Like I'm impressed that someone can do that.
Look, anyone can do it. Honestly, It's not even.
Could I challenge you to the opposite of an ultra marathon? Do you know what I mean? The opposite.
Doing the least distance every day.
Well, not the least distance, like the least anything. You just cut everything out.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, minimalist.
Yeah.
You're like a Buddhist. You just meditate. You should just meditate all day. You don't even meditate though, but that would be the least.
Right. No, that's not the least. That's a lot. That's a lot.
No, I don't even think you're not even supposed to be thinking.
Right, but that's hard, isn't it?
That's very difficult because thinking happens automatically.
Yeah.
Thoughts just come and go. Thoughts just, your brain just generates them. I don't know where they come from.
Ooh. Well, perhaps they come from the input, whatever the input is. That's where they come from.
Yeah, no one knows. No one knows. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there.
Well, you don't want to go to thought? Yeah, that's a tough one. Thinking's hard. So
consciousness. Let's analyze consciousness.
Becomes very hard.
Yeah. So what did you do on the weekend?
Oh, man. Well, by comparison, very little. But I did. It was Mother's Day on the weekend, so I did go.
Of course.
Yeah. Going great guns. Saw the dogs. Just had a ball, man. Had a ball.
Nice. What's she up to? Did you give her a present? What do you do? What do you do with your mum on Mother's Day? Make her breakfast in bed or something?
I'm the worst, man.
You were there. Right?
Yeah, she loves it. And she loves it.
But,
there's a hug. There's no card.
Man, you wrote her a book once.
There's no flowers, You
should write another chapter of the book.
Yeah. Well, no, I made her a children's book one year.
Yeah.
And that was only a couple of years ago, though. No, she's got so many hobbies, man. She's got the garden that her and Dad tend to. They make all their vegetables and stuff. They'll point out every vegetable in the dish that you're eating that came from their garden because they're very proud of it. And they're just smashing out job after job down there. Hobbies are good. Wazoo. It's great.
It's the dream. One day we'll be there. Well, we won't be there. We won't be there. We won't be together there, but we'll be living the same life.
That's something I've struggled with for a long time.
What
is you're a kid, right? And you grow up, and you think, when I'm a grown up, I get to do all this cool stuff that people say, like, don't do that because you're now an adult, so you get to make your own decisions now. So there's a whole different thing. For example, when I first moved out of home, I moved into a little apartment in Subiaco, and I moved in, and the first thing I did was go out to the shops and buy the shopping items that Mum would rarely get me. You know, the ones that were treats but rarely got me. So I came
What
home
kind
with
of
like
stuff?
Tim Tams.
Ooh.
I came home with chicken chippies straight in the oven. Let's get this thing going.
Oh man, they were the best.
Chicken chippies. I mean, she wasn't opposed to chicken chippies. They were in the freezer as a standard, but I kept that part. But I got the Cocoa Pops.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I got the Fruity Loops. You know what I mean? I
They
ate
are
breakfast
the forbidden fruit.
For that week, I would have eaten breakfast. It would have been the only week. You know what I mean? But it was important. It was a thing. I did it.
Pure sugar. That would have given you about half an hour of energy.
I would have. No, it was
You would have
great.
been peaking, but then after that, just a big crash.
It was just the ultimate sign that, hey, I've made it. I've done it. I'm finally an adult. Look at this. I got Cocoa Pops, right? Doesn't sound like a big thing, but it is a big thing.
I can get whatever I want.
The point is that when you're young, you get to grow up and you think, yeah, I'm going to be an adult one day. I'm going to be able to do whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
And then they go, no. You're an adult now, but you don't get to do whatever you want. Like, you still have to do certain things. Like, you've just got a different parent now, be that the state or whatever, right? They're your parents now, right? So you got to pay regos and like
yeah,
fees.
you still got obligations, right? You got chores, but real chores.
Sure, like working. And then they say, don't worry, because when you get super old, you'll be retired. You won't have to do any of this. And I think to myself, is that when life begins? Because I don't like that. I don't like that arrangement.
Depressing. That is depressing.
Because I don't like that arrangement, right? I prefer living now and not living later. So essentially, you should work when you're older. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Take the first 40 years, do whatever you want, right? But when you turn 42,
then you start there. Yeah, then life's over. You might as well start working. Yeah,
you got to start working, man.
You've had a good life.
You'll be only working for like 30 years, so don't worry about it.
You've had 40 years of great time when you're young.
Yeah. Well, you're retired. You're retired. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Retire between 20 and 40.
Yep.
And then join the workforce when you're 40.
42.
And just hope that there's no age discrimination come into play. Well, they're trying to wipe that out now anyway, so you'll be fine.
Well, all the workforce will be in their 40s and over.
Or if everyone does it.
Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, so it's like a gap year on steroids.
Yeah, it's state-funded gap years.
I've done a gap decade. Going to have a second one.
Well, I'll put it from this. Let's take it from this angle, right? You get 30 years, 40 years to find out what you give a shit about, to find out what you care about, and hopefully you get to work in that sort of field, right? That'd be great.
Jeez, you'd make a good choice when you're 40.
Yeah, exactly. That's another good point. You just actually, would you? I mean, you've grown. You haven't really grown up, have you? You've just been like living it up, just straight up, not retired at one. You're retired. Ugh, imagine starting work. You'd be like, oh, now my life is over.
Yes, it would need to be state funded, wouldn't it?
The whole thing, yeah.
No. When you're 20 to 40, your parents enter the workforce, right? Because they're going to become, once you get to 20, they're about 40. They enter the workforce. They can.
It's the same. It's the fucking same. It's just you get to spend 20 more years at home with the folks. It's the same.
It's got to be a generational thing as well, right? You can't do it until your parents do it. So you need to be the first generation of not working while you've sort of already worked, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a good test subject for this. But but it doesn't matter, right? Because we talked about it last week, man. The robots are coming, right, for all the jobs. Right? They're coming for all the gigs. And, I, for one, welcome our robotic overlords,
You have to.
Yeah.
But you don't know how they're going to react. Like these are the AI sort of robot things. You can't predict these guys. Space Odyssey 2001, right? You've got what is it? The HAL 9000. What's the HAL stand for? You know that little
Yeah,
red thing that's on The Simpsons and stuff.
yeah. Well, I don't remember.
It's like, I can't
It'd
remember
be
that.
human
No, it's like
something.
it's some weird word like heuristically.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll fact check that. But I'm curious. Yeah, the HAL 9000. Right, he had, or he. I don't know why I'm referring to him as a he. I think it just sounded like a bloke.
I think it's
Um,
voice, like the voice is masculine, you'd say.
Yeah. So when there was two rules that thing was operating under. It was you can't tell a lie. That was the first thing, and it couldn't tell them the aliens had previously landed. Wasn't that the?
Man, it's been a while.
Yeah. So no, there was two things, right? Then the humans are asking. The humans want to know. The humans ask it about that sort of situation, the aliens landing. And because it can't tell a lie, it decides the best way to deal with this situation, because I can't break one of these laws, is to kill the humans. And to us, that doesn't seem like
Logical.
an ethical, logical thing to do. But if you've just got two laws that it's operating under, that is a very logical way of dealing with that situation, right? But it's just not how a human would do it.
It's pretty much Skynet, right? It's the you plug it in, you say detect all the threats. It goes, the threat's you. It kills you. It's pretty standard, right?
Pretty standard plot.
Well, it
there
makes sense, right? Well, it makes sense because they're like, yeah, it just goes. It works really fast. It goes, hang on a sec, I've done all the calculations. You are the threat. I'll start nuking now.
Yeah, there's this drone that they give a bunch of they give it a bunch of rules and things to follow, and it's flying around. It's given this perimeter to work in, and at least one of its laws is to do everything as efficiently as possible.
Mm-hmm.
One of its other, right, good law for a robot, right? Very, very, very logical. They've probably all got that one built in. And then one of the other ones was, if you go outside the radius of this circle, to turn yourself off, to allow the humans to they don't want it going off somewhere. So they're like, this is your operating area. If you go outside, just turn off. And then after a while, and they give it some other things to do, and they give it tasks to run in this circle. Mm. And then the drone, they found sometimes when it was near the edge, it would just fly itself outside of the perimeter, turn itself off, and it kept doing it, and they didn't know why. They're like, why does this thing just keep terminating its flight? But it figured out that the most efficient way of doing its tasks sometimes is to fly outside the circle, and then the humans will not the humans, but someone or whatever will bring it back to the start point, and that is the most efficient way of, then it will go to point B and things like that. So it sort of picked up. Yeah, that's pretty wild, right? You just don't know how their logical brains are going to compute the laws.
Yeah, so if it found out that, it put it back in a certain spot, is that what you mean? In the middle, and it just took off from there, and it was closer to where its task was?
Yeah. So it would just purposely fly outside the circle, knowing it will then restart in the middle.
So in a real world scenario, it goes, oh, that's there, so I should just turn off. And they go, no, don't turn off. We're not there. We're not with you. Yeah. We can't help. You're a tortoise on its back now. Do the most efficient thing. Yeah. Wow. Imagine if we were wired that way. Wowzers.
Have you thought much about the election coming up?
The election, yeah, it's happening in a couple of weeks. I know that if you talk to anyone about it, most people are saying, ugh, can't wait for this election to be over. I'm like, it's like a month.
I know.
In the lead
it's not even that bad,
right?
It's
not 2 years. Yeah. Like in America, you'd be really over it by the time you go cast your vote. You're really over it. Or you know who you want to vote for. I don't know. You get 2 years to vet the candidates. In Australia, it's like a month and a half, so it's not a lot of time, man. I didn't even watch the debates.
Oh, neither did I. No way.
But I heard it was really bad.
Oh, was it?
I heard it was someone. I think it was a
What?
journalist on the ABC described it as a nil-all draw.
Okay.
And if our pollies, if our best, the best of the best, the guys who were putting their hand up to say, "I'll run the country," can't score, yeah,
Mm.
in a debate.
I don't know how you score in a
nil
debate,
all.
though. Who knows?
Oh man, that just meant. I guess he's trying to just convey that it was just pretty vacuous.
Ding.
And they were yelling over each other, and it just was a bad look. The moderator
Okay.
couldn't get a word in.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was bad, man. It was
Oh,
bad.
that's pretty poor. I heard ScoMo was. This is an article from a while ago, but I heard he was on like a Vicks vapor rub ad when he was a child.
Oh, really?
But he denies it. But he goes, I wasn't that particular Vicks child, but I was on a Vicks vapor like rub
What?
ad when I was a child. Yeah.
Maybe he was a baby. Maybe he was very young.
Yeah.
So what? There's no footage that's come out of this.
Well, apparently they scoured for it. They were trying to find it, but he did say he was on a Vicks ad. But then the one they say it was him in, he's just like, nah, I'm not that one.
Wow. Okay, so there's a video out there of Scott Morrison as a child in a Vicks vapor drops ad. Well, you learn something new every day.
We've had some interesting PMs. I mean,
Yeah,
Bob Hawke had the Guinness World Record for chugging.
on a flight, right?
No, that's no. He did 2.5 pints in 11 seconds. I'm pretty sure, and that was the then Guinness World Record.
It was owned by a Prime Minister of Australia. Is that a Guinness World Record? Do you have to get that verified?
Yeah, I think it was verified. I don't know when.
No.
Can you imagine we did that in office?
I mean,
That gets you re-elected, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In Australia,
What is more Australian than that? Yeah.
Oh man, we had another interesting Prime Minister though who went missing and they never found the body.
That's so bizarre, right?
Isn't
that
it
is so
just?
weird.
When was this? This must have been in the 70s or something.
I think it was late 60s, I think.
And he went for a swim. He was a very avid swimmer.
Loved
very,
it.
very good swimmer. Went to a spot. I think the spot is semi-notorious for people not having a good time. Is that true? I don't know. I've seen pictures of the place. It looks. I wouldn't swim there, man. Like, if I have to climb down a cliff to access the beach, I'm out. I'll go to the one with the sand, you know?
Apparently he loved swimming. He was a super strong swimmer.
Yeah, he was. He was a big time, like, you know, whatever the dudes that do this, the you know, life-saving sort of comp stuff. He would have been that kind of guy. And he's gone missing. And they never found the body.
I know. They did a huge search as well, as you would for a PM.
He's the Prime Minister.
Yes. They did a huge search.
Yeah. But if someone goes missing in the water nowadays in Australia, they'll find him. And this,
You'd find something. I don't know. You'd find something, right? Did they find anything? Did they find any of his gear? Nothing. Yeah. Okay. Do you know? I need this fact check. So I understand that there was actually a headline in the paper either the day before or a couple of days before, very recently before he went missing, and the headline was PM advised to swim less.
Wow.
If anyone had it coming, because apparently he swam, he just swam a lot in the ocean.
Yeah.
But why would that be in the paper? Does it? But honestly, I mean,
that's a bit fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah. And he used to practice holding his breath in Parliament as well when he was bored.
Yeah, well, if he's a swimmer, like, he's just getting some training in while he can, you know, get some training in. No, but there was I remember my dad telling me that, like, there were articles, like fringe articles, that would have been, you know, on the weird parts of the internet nowadays, saying that there were theories about him getting, like, snatched up by a submarine.
That's going to lend itself to a million theories, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a guy that just disappears.
Missing, and they never found him. Now, he would have had the equivalent of Secret Service back then, whatever that would have been. He would have had some dudes that would have been close by, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how the Secret Service.
I don't think so. Apparently, he was swimming with some other friends. Like they said they saw him sort of go deeper and deeper. Yeah.
No, he would. What? That makes it even weirder that they didn't find a body.
Yeah.
If he was, I'm pretty sure he was alone.
No, I'm pretty sure he was with friends. I thought.
Oh man,
That's my recollection.
Man, that's so rough.
But what's this is sort of ironic. I haven't thought about. I mean, I know there's all those theories about it, but it's somewhat ironic that the Harold Holt Communications Center in Exmouth is for communication with submarines.
Wow,
that's a pretty weird link.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, the whole Harold Holt should swim less article. Maybe they were in on it. You know, maybe they knew he was gonna.
Yeah, maybe they're setting it up. Yeah, trying to make it sound like.
Yeah, he definitely drowned because he should
sound like he had it coming. Yeah. PM, don't swim so much. Something could happen. Oh, look, it happened.
It happened. But if that's true I've never heard that angle before. I've never heard that there was a newspaper article a few days before about that. That's fascinating. But obviously it doesn't mean anything. It's just
it's coincidence.
Really interesting. Yeah. But we haven't had, I think we've just had the one Prime Minister go missing in office.
Just the one.
And I think the prevailing theory was perhaps a shark got him because that would be why there would be less evidence, I guess.
I would have thought there'd be heaps of evidence, but maybe it can chomp him up, you know.
I doubt
the shark
it,
doesn't eat the whole body.
Well, you reckon it just takes bits off?
Sharks.
They don't school. They don't school up.
No, maybe a frenzy.
That's one of the great things about sharks is people always say like sharks are really scary and they prevent me from getting in the water, right? It's not the only thing preventing me from getting in the water, but other people who are literally they're frightened to death of sharks, right? Now, imagine if they hunted in packs, if great whites cruised around like pods of dolphins. Then I'm never going into the water again.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because they're more effective by themselves. They must be. The proof's in the pudding. They hunt alone. That's what they do. And I'm glad they do because I don't want to see 20 of those suckers and look, it's a little baby shark. Yeah, the baby shark is going to eat your remains. Oh, man, that's frightening. Like,
yeah, they're scary enough. You don't need multiples.
You don't need them hunting in packs. We'd have
what about killer whales, man? They're terrifying. They just don't really attack humans. They work in unison with each other.
Absolutely, but not frightening for us, but frightening for everything else, right?
Yeah.
Well, they'll. What happens? What would happen if a great white, say 5 meters, big boy, rolled up on a pod of killer whales? They'll have a crack, right?
Knows. I don't know. I don't think so.
No, the shark wouldn't have a crack, but the whales would have a crack.
The whales could, potentially. But man, killer whales are so brutal. So they eat other kinds of whales. Or they can attack other kinds of whales. I don't know my whale varieties, right? But whatever whales they like to eat, the adults are too big for them to eat, but they go for the young.
Oh,
so
of course.
They try to, I think you call them a calf, right? A baby whale. Is it a calf?
I'd say so, yeah.
Sometimes, so there'll be 4 killer whales, and I know someone that used to live up in Exmouth that's seen this happen, and the mother will put the calf on its kind of on its head or like back kind of thing and raise it out of the water when the killer whales are trying to like nip at them.
Wow.
And the 2 killer whales will take turns like kind of sort of like, bumping into attacking whilst the other 2 rest. And then the other 2 swap over and the mother can't, and they just keep swapping like that, just taking turns. And the mother can't keep the whale out of the water forever. And so eventually it gets in there and they just, nibble away at it.
Oh God!
That
how
is
many?
brutal.
How many? All right. So whenever I watch national, the Nature Channel or whatever, right, I get to see the highlights, right? They're called
the highlights, the kills.
The kills, right? I'm seeing the kills. But how many engagements are these whales having in any given week, right? Do they have to fend off 3 of these attacks? Because there's no getting out of the map. You're not escaping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're in the water.
It's a great escape when you're a whale,
whole time.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. You're in the water the whole time. And what I thought was really fascinating is the killer whales have obviously evolved to do this kind of thing. They've evolved to do this too. And the other whales have evolved their defenses in unison with the attacks. You know what I mean? They're constantly going, what are they doing? Like, they do this. We know they do this, so let's raise the calf out of the water. That's fucking fascinating, right?
Tail whip.
Yeah, and I've seen those when they just play with the seals. They just knock them around. Are those killer whales? I'm pretty sure they're killer whales.
They are, yeah.
They just KO them with the
Yeah.
first hit and just play tennis with them.
Slap them.
I mean, what are they doing? Are they having fun? What's the purpose of that activity? Is it they're not going to eat them, right?
I reckon they're having fun. I reckon they're having a great time. I think they eat them as well. They eat them.
It's not that strange version of fun when you compare sort of the sort of stuff that humans get up to. So I guess it would be fun if I was massive. If I was huge and there were these, oh, that's horrible. That's like kicking a quokka. You know what I mean? You wouldn't do it. You just wouldn't do it.
Some people do. Maybe they're deranged.
Scumbags.
Deranged killer whales.
Yeah, they're just the scumbag killer whales. You have a good day today? Yeah, pretty good day. What'd you get up to? Me and the boys just went and slapped some seals down at the, down at the spot. Oh, man. Scum. Absolute scum.
Man, I followed, I'm not really much of an Instagrammer, but I did follow the James Webb Space Telescope Instagram just to see what they're up to.
What are they up to?
They just released an image. They're right at the end of their calibrations, and they've released an image to show what it can do. But this isn't what it can do. This isn't like a long opening or anything. It's just like they sort of compare what they did with another telescope in space, not the Hubble, another one, and what it can do. So they can say, oh, look, this is kind of the difference in quality. Yes.
And
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It didn't blow my mind. It's not like the ultra deep field kind of shot that.
Well, the ultra deep field shot would just look better through this thing.
Oh yeah. Well, different.
Different.
Yeah. Like so much better.
Cool. That's exciting that we get a bit of an update on our galaxy pics. It's kind of like Google Earth's updating, and you get it's the fresh layout.
Yeah. So that would be. I'm looking forward to actually seeing when they really, really go deep with this one.
Dial it in.
Yeah, when they dial it in. Yeah.
Hey, tell me this. We talked last week about the this James Webb Telescope and what they're looking for, right?
Yeah,
or what they're searching for. So the Hubble telescope, when they threw that thing up in the sky, right?
Yeah,
what was it? Do you know what its gig was?
Well, that's pretty much. They literally did what you said. They just put a big ass telescope in space, so you're not dealing with all the atmosphere. So we've got all the telescopes, terrestrial telescopes here, and you're looking at things, and the biggest impediment to getting a good view is just the air and all the stuff in the air. So they thought, let's put one in space where we're not going to have any of that atmosphere to deal with.
Sounds brilliant.
Sounds brilliant, right? But that one is just visible light. So it's pretty much just like a telescope would be on the ground, but in the sky.
So you're not getting as much information?
Well, you're getting more information from the one in the sky because it's not dealing with the atmosphere. And you've seen the ultra deep field shot, right?
Of course. It's very famous. Very amazing. But explain
it. That's crazy. So that one, my understanding is they open the shutter for 11 hours on a bit of space that would look blank to the naked eye, or even a shitty sort of telescope. So if you sort of like if you held your hand up to the sky, it would be about a piece of sky that is half your pinky finger. Nail, just the nail, half the pinky finger nail. That tiny little bit of black sky, they open the shutter on that for 11 hours and see what light is detected on this. What comes through, right?
How many did they find? How many?
Oh, there's like 100 galaxies in that you would otherwise think was nothing there, right? So it completely blew the lid on what people's understanding of the universe and just how deep, how far it goes, right? But the Hubble only sees back, I was looking into it, only sees back 400 million light years, they reckon, because visible, so the Hubble has problems, right? The Hubble is just detects visible light, right? And it doesn't really have infrared
What a piece
capacity.
of shit.
Yeah. Man, it had so many problems actually.
Oh,
It was a
no.
bit of a joke. You would have seen it in The Simpsons and stuff. When the Hubble went up, they actually fucked up the mirror. They ground it down like its curvature was just like it was a nano fucking meter out, but the images were blurred. So
boy.
they had to go up. They had to send astronauts up because luckily it's just orbiting close to Earth, so you can actually do some
Yeah, I was
servicing
going to
to
ask
it.
how high it is. How is it? Dangerously high?
No, it's not. I don't know I don't know exactly where it is, but I mean the International Space Station's at 400 kilometers
Yep.
away from the Earth, so it would be
Around that?
somewhere around that. Yeah, I reckon.
okay.
I reckon. And they actually sent up some astronauts to put essentially glasses on it to deal with
Wow.
well,
Fix it, yeah.
not
How did they
obviously.
fuck that up, man?
Oh, that was the joke. Like that, that like NASA, they're just like, just one of the biggest projects you've ever done, and you just mess up the,
Oh man,
the most
sounds
important
highly
part.
unlikely.
Yeah.
It wasn't like damaged or anything during its installation or anything like that. It's literally how it was designed.
I don't know. I don't know who fucked it up. Someone lost their job over it.
Yeah.
But the Hubble doesn't have any infrared capacity or very limited infrared capacities. That's like the part of the part of the spectrum that is just above red, like visible red. And then once you get into infrared, that's essentially heat.
Yeah, but it's light speed's the speed limit of the universe, right?
Yeah.
So it's not
No,
better.
it's the type of light. It's there's microwaves go a different type of electromagnetic radiation. So electromagnetic radiation is just a spectrum from, I don't know what's at one end. Like you got probably gamma rays is probably high on one end as being like a really short wavelength, and then you have like radio waves at the other end, which are like a longer wavelength. But it's all the same thing. It's all light.
Okay, but why is the
Well, it's not. It's not visible light.
why is infrared better than visible light when you're using a telescope? Why is that better?
Oh well, the infrared. Apparently, it penetrates dust and gas way better than visible light. So visible light will get eaten up as it travels through. Yeah, because there's heaps of stuff up there. You think it's mainly empty, but when you're trying to see stars that are inside a galaxy of dust and stuff, because everything, obviously there's a fuckload of gravity that's pulling. There's stuff in there. The light doesn't the visible light, should I say? I have to keep, when I say light, the visible light doesn't really escape as well, but infrared electromagnetic radiation.
It's fascinating.
So it travels a lot better.
So we're going to get some cool shots.
It penetrates. We'll get some cool shots.
That's pretty exciting.
It is exciting. And I understand that cooler objects emit their radiation primarily in the infrared. So, if you're looking at like a star or something, then, that's going to have that's perhaps more visible light. But when you're looking at gas clouds and planets and things like that, then they can emit infrared radiation in the form of heat.
Yeah,
but not necessarily visible.
Oh my god. So we're sending up shit to detect invisible shit, but to paint a better picture of the universe.
Yeah. But man, the Hubble, right? That goes back. That can see back apparently 400 million years.
Cool. Yep.
Right. The James Webb.
Yeah.
Is estimated to be able to see.
I'm going to say, get fucked. Go on.
So 200 million years after the Big Bang.
Get fucked.
So that's like in the billion. That's in like the 13 billion years.
Okay. But hey, whoa. It's not going to be a lot before the Big Bang, though, right? There's not going to be a lot going on there, right?
Well, so my understanding, who the fuck knows what the Big Bang is, right? But something happened, right? And then all this, and let's just imagine, space just, I guess, is created. In space and time, in an instant. Sure. And you just got energy that just irradiates out. And then when it sort of started to settle, when the heat,
Are we still in the settling
heaps of heat.
phase?
No, we're out of the settling phase. This is early universe, right? It's all heat and energy. And then it starts kind of crystallizing into hydrogen and helium, so gas, right? And then the hydrogen and helium starts to clump together because of gravity, right? They start getting attracted towards each other.
Because of gravity. Yeah,
Because of gravity.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever, I don't know why there's force between objects. But
I can't explain that. Yeah.
No one, who knows, right? And then,
I'm glad it's around.
As they all start clumping together. So you've got shitloads of gas in the universe. That's what it is, right? No light, nothing's on fire, shitload of gas. Then they start clumping together into big balls.
Mm.
And then as the pressure builds, for whatever reason, I don't know how this happens, they just start, when you have a lot of heat and pressure because of the gravity pulling all these things in, it becomes a star. The first generation of stars.
Yeah, okay. So if we look at a sun, like our sun, right, a star like our sun, what early days of the formation of the star itself, is it doing exactly what it's doing now? Did it just start burning up?
Yeah, exactly what it's doing now, right? So hydrogen and helium are just slamming together. There's shitloads of energy, and they just start making bigger and bigger elements.
And how many years have we got left on that thing? A couple of billion years or something?
Yeah, I think they're in the billions. I think that so I don't know what generation star we're dealing with now, but then the stars then generate all that other heavy matter that is then released into like the universe. So it all starts with hydrogen and helium and whatever I don't know what's the third thing on the periodic table? Lithium? I don't know what it is, but it builds heavier and heavier molecules, and that's what. And then the star dies in a big explosion, and all that debris and stuff that it's generated is then released, and then will clump together to form planets or whatever, meteors.
But I used to think. Well, I'm sure this is fine, but that. A nebula was essentially where stars were born, right? Like a little
that's a gas
celestial bloody cradle. Yeah.
Yes.
But this is where the gases are forming. Can a nebula spawn multiple stars?
I think so. I don't know. I don't think the gas is forming. It's already been formed, but just hasn't clumped together. So this is one thing that the James Webb Space Telescope is going to be looking at. It's looking at the formation of galaxies. So that image they've released now is actually an early stage galaxy. So it's what ours would have been like a long time ago. So they can actually, obviously watching it in real time isn't going to be great, but like they can look at like early stage galaxies, late stage galaxies, and they can see how it transitions through.
Well, fuck, man. Hey, I used to think that
it starts off just as gas, right? Then it goes. It's mainly gaseous, and then it starts clumping. It starts, forming stars. The stars then will be creating heavier and heavier elements. Then they explode, releasing debris into the galaxy, and then that starts other gas clouds will then start condensing and creating new stars, and then because of all the debris that's now in the galaxy, that starts getting caught in the orbital field of that star, and then you got planetary systems.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Man, the James Webb Space Telescope is like having an infrared telescope has so many challenges, right? Unlike the Hubble, because it's just a visible light telescope. That thing, you don't need to worry about the heat of it, and that's why the Hubble doesn't have much infrared capacity, because it was too hard to sort of build that in.
Yeah.
So
now you got it on your phone, so you could just chuck a phone in.
What do you mean?
Oh, your phone's probably got an infrared camera.
Oh, probably.
Chuck it on.
But not this kind of infrared camera, man.
No.
The instruments need to be kept at 50 degrees Kelvin, which is negative 223 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, you mentioned that it was cooling down, and that's why they hadn't released any pictures.
Yeah. So now they've gotten it to the stage where it's cool enough to sort of operate.
They take a snap, and then they got to let it cool down for a week.
Not necessarily, but I do know that the little motors in the in those big golden hexagonal segments, those little motors, they're only moving the plates at 1 millimeter a day because the
Gets too hot.
rotors, generate heat. So they can't just that's one reason it took so long to calibrate, because they have to do it really incrementally.
Yeah, so if you watch Star Trek or something and they go engage the telescope, it would just go like instantly go. Whereas this one, it's like engage the unfolding. See you guys in 3.5 weeks when it's cooled down.
But you can see why though that it has to be cool though, because it's trying to detect heat, because it's an infrared telescope. So to observe faint signals of infrared without source of interference, it's got to be really cool. Whereas the Hubble's a warm telescope, and it does have some infrared capacity, but it's blinded by its own systems. It's too hot. And so my understanding is on the sun side of the heat shield, it's 83 degrees Celsius. And on the back side where it's operating, it's 50 degrees Kelvin. Or
quick question.
Yeah.
What if we pointed it the other way?
Pointed it the other way towards the sun?
Point the James Webb. Yeah, you're trying to look at where the universe began, right? Fuck that. Let's turn that bad boy 180. Yeah.
It's looking the other way. Yeah.
Look the other way.
You're just going to be looking at first generation stars in the other direction.
Okay. So the more advanced, obviously, but will be towards the center. So when you look that way, they're the older galaxies.
Well, I think I'm just imagining space just happened really quickly. All the space just happened.
Yeah, okay. But I used to also think that with the Big Bang, you also would have this moment where the big crunch. I used to think that was a thing.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I think
where everything would come back together and then explode again, right? But I was very, very surprised and depressed by the actual future of the universe.
It's way scarier, right?
I believe a cold, dark death for the whole thing. Yeah. So,
man, it was actually Hubble that discovered the universe is expanding.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that how fresh that information is?
That was like 100 years ago or so. That's Hubble's law, is that he was the one that figured out that the further something is away, the faster it is traveling away from us. And it's a ratio. So it's like, if you're 1 light year away, you are traveling away at like 1 unit of speed. And if you're 2 light years away, you're traveling away at 2 units of speed.
Oh, okay. So that's his law, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is Hubble a man who built the telescope, or is Hubble a man they named the telescope after?
I think the man, he had to be the man that they built, that they just named it after.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, so now he's got the law as well. Man, he's cleaning up.
Yeah, man.
Old Hubble.
Yeah.
He's doing very well. I was depressed to hear that the fate of the universe is way darker than another explosion, potentially more fun times ahead. Not for us, but for the next generation of the universe. You know what I mean? I used to think that was a thing, but apparently not.
Well, imagine this, right? So, they say that the Big Bang was something that just it was like a fluctuation in nothingness that sort of got out of control, right? Sounds very weird. So but imagine everything's moving away at ever increasing speed, right? Eventually you've got nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you kind of got the conditions potentially.
Oh,
for another, because there's nothing. The stress of the system.
So, more like a pulse,
like a tear or something. Like it gets to a certain point and it just kind of, I don't know, something happens, a fucking Big Bang or something.
Yeah, so a Big Bang happens, and the all the systems that are outside of it's the area required of nothingness to make that happen. They would experience probably some fucked up thing wherever they are, if not immediately, very soon. And because you're talking about the universe being created in the blink of an eye, imagine what that would do if you plonked it in the middle of, your ocean. You know what I mean? Your galactic ocean. It's gonna fuck some shit up. You're gonna have some problems there.
Yeah.
But the things in the middle will look, they'll just form over the next, billion odd years or whatever, and figure it out and have their own.
They got billions of years to figure it out. Yeah, billions of years.
Oh man, that is interesting.
One of the sensors on the James Webb has to be at 7 degrees Kelvin, which is 7 degrees off the minimum temperature of the universe. It's as cold. So 0 degrees Kelvin is as cold as anything can get. It's got no energy. No, it's not vibrating.
And where do you find that sort of stuff? Just nowhere, everywhere.
Deep.
This is the majority of the universe.
Deep space, probably. Yeah, deep space.
So you're saying, okay. So if you were in anywhere in our solar system, you're not that.
Probably not. No, definitely not that. Actually, if you're copying, you'll be getting heat radiation from the sun.
Yeah.
So we actually have to firstly block the sun using the
shield
using the shields, and you have to have active cooling systems that are so efficient that they don't generate heat.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, that's wild. That's apparently one of the coolest things it's got. Like that was one thing they're like, how the fuck? Because you can imagine it's trying to detect heat, man. Yeah. It is so. What it can detect is bananas. Like it's
is it though, or are we going to look back at this in 50 odd years and go, fuck the hell, that piece of shit, that old hunk of junk, I can't do anything.
Man, I think this. I know what you mean. You can make it. They wanted to make it bigger, but they were limited by the size of the spacecraft. You had to. We didn't custom make a spacecraft for this. We just took we just took the one. We took the biggest one we had. It's got a 5 meter diameter, and they just go, all right, what can we build that is going to fit? We're just going to fold it up like origami, put it in here. Yep. The guys who first designed it were like, they wanted to go way bigger with the primary mirror, but they just couldn't. They had to compromise and go, I think it's 6.5 diameter.
And where is it located?
Oh, it's 100. No, it's a million miles away from Earth.
What?
A cool million miles.
What do you mean? What's it orbiting then? The sun?
It's in this. It's pretty. It's called a Lagrange point.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like this. It's a perfect spot. So I don't know how to describe it.
I think I know it. It's going to be closer to the sun, let's say.
Okay, it always has to keep. It has to orbit the same. So if you drew a line and you've got the sun, the Earth, and then the James Webb.
Yeah.
Right.
It's in line with Earth?
Always in line. So when the Earth orbits, it is still going to stay in a straight line. Yeah. With the whole system is always in a straight line because the heat shield has to keep them both in it.
And they've worked that out because maths.
Yeah, maths. Apparently, but they always knew about this point. There's a couple of them where it's like an equilibrium point of gravity where... Holy shit, love. Laughing Fuck. It's like this equilibrium where it's basically it's a parking spot. They call it a parking spot. They just should chuck it in there. Park it. The most important part about that is it's just keeping like a stable temperature because it's always in the same. It's like it's keeping those hot objects in the exact same spot, and that's obviously as you can tell when you're trying to keep something, at as cold as it is. That's pretty critical.
Space is great, right? Because maths works really well in space. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I agree with that.
You got less wind, like less other factors. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That we have to deal with on Earth. Meaning, if you were to fly a ship, like fly an aircraft, let's say, you'd be better in space than you would be on Earth because it's I think it'd be easier, right? Is that? Am I talking shit?
I reckon it'd be easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you're in space, you could. Yeah, for sure.
And not just easier, but more efficient too.
Oh yeah.
So because there's no less gravity working on the craft itself, you can go further, do more stuff, right? Travel faster.
Yeah, looks good in Star Wars.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, and that's kind of. Are we getting there? Are we getting there? Are we going to fly in space?
I don't know.
Commercial little jets or whatever. Is that going to happen?
I think so. Apparently that is happening.
Proper ones, though. I mean, like spaceships, they're with the proper
Yeah,
engines.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Proper engines. Engines we haven't thought of yet. Engines we don't have.
I don't know if we fund a joyride in space, would it?
No, you zip up to the moon for dinner.
You know what the problem is you got nothing to see. Like, so the good thing about like driving a car really fast is you can, relative to your surroundings, you're moving, so things are going by really quick. You know, you're dodging things. It's really interactive. In space,
you driving.
In space, you just like there's nothing going past.
Yeah,
unless you know. I mean, even if you're going light speed, fuck all's going past.
Should we be worried about space travel? Like, if you were on a little solo flight with, you know, you take your lady up to the moon for, you know, a nice dinner, and you get your little space cab, and it takes you up, right? Things fly through space really quickly. Debris and whatnot, right? There's things around all the time.
Yeah.
Would that be a worry? I'd be worried about that because I always think, like, you know, is it just going to bounce off? Is that all right? Are we okay?
Man, I don't.
It's moving fucking quick.
Things are moving. Things are moving at 10,000 kilometers a second.
That sounds fucking frightening.
Maybe not 10,000 meters. 10 kilometers a second for sure. Things orbit at that kind of speed. That's what they're worried about with the James Webb, and it's a tennis court sized object. The heat shields are human hair thin.
Oh my god,
human hair thin. They tore them when they were like practicing, and when they were trying to deploy it in their chambers and stuff. They would tear the shields and things. I think they've got some kind of tape that goes along it that. So if a little rock or something, a small one, rips through the shields, it will just kind of keep the breach just in that small section. So hopefully the whole structure isn't compromised.
Oh my god, that's not good.
It would be sad. It would be sad to get it this far, right?
Get the pick and get out.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm talking about get the shot.
The cost is so astronomical, like literally astronomical.
How much are we talking?
10 bill.
10 bill. That's like 3 Twitters. It's like a third of Twitter, actually. It's a third of one Twitter. Oh man, like, what are we dedicating? Where is the money going, man?
Well, man, it was originally budgeted to be 500 mil, so you can see there's some upset people.
It blew out a bit. It blew out a little bit.
Cop some criticism.
Yeah, but you got to get it up there. There's challenges. I'm sure like salaries are pretty big when you're building this kind of cool shit.
Sure, someone made some money, right?
Someone's got to have made bucket loads of dollars, man. Man,
it's got gold on those hexagonal segments, but it's only 1 atom thick, or
so how do they do
1 nanometer.
So they would like 3D print that essentially, almost. So there'd be some sort of mechanic.
I think they'd have to.
There'd be a machine doing that. We can't do that.
No, we can't.
So we defer to machines when we can't do it. Let them do it.
Oh yeah, we do.
Plug it in. Oh, we're so fucked.
You know how we're talking about the sensitivity? I don't think you can get too much more sensitive than this. So apparently it can detect a nanojansky. Have you ever heard of a nanojansky?
Are they like little snacks?
It sounds like it, right?
They're like oven, come out of the freezer straight in. What was it again?
Nanojansky.
Nanojansky. I have 3 nanojanskys. I have actually 2 nanojanskys and 3 nanojanskys, please.
So it's a unit of brightness.
Mm-hmm.
If you put a child's light on the moon and look at it from Earth, it's emitting 20 nanojanskys.
20 of them?
20.
Yeah, but that's just here to the moon, man. That's nothing, right?
But it's a nightlight. Like, that's still...
I get it. Yeah, that's fucked. Okay.
So, and when we're looking at stars, we talk about the energy that's getting generated by a star, and we're talking about how much, like how crazy it is, how much it's irradiating last time. So the detection system on the James Webb can detect things as dim as 1 photon a second. So it's detecting stars so far away that only 1 photon of that star a second will be hitting its receiver, and it will that's the sort of the range. That's enough to be able to generate an image. And they say that the stars you can see in the night sky with your own eyeball, you'll be detecting 1 million photons a second.
Whoa. Yeah, okay.
Cool,
So when you're talking about 1 million times dimmer, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I went to the Gingin Observatory once, and they had some telescopes set up.
Yeah, did they have some telescopes outside as well?
Yeah, they were outside. Well,
area?
I thought they'd all be inside. I don't know. I don't really know much about like astronomy. I haven't done it,
but a good spot to view the night sky. So they chuck a few out there, I guess.
They were pretty large. I mean, for a portable telescope, they're like not something you wouldn't be like sort of you fucking around with that thing. You're not taking it. You wouldn't have it in your house or anything. It's like meters long. Wow. That thing was pointed at some sort of constellation of stars that was 55 million light years away, and it looked like dust. Like I could see the stars, but they look like they're very faint, and so that those photons have been traveling uninhibited. Yeah, obviously when a photon hits something, it transfers the energy and it's gone for 55 million years. So that's that was like that light was emitted when the dinosaurs were around.
Yeah,
sort of.
That is interesting.
Around that kind of time frame.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. The discovery of dinosaur bones wasn't that fucking long ago, man. To be honest,
I know it wasn't, but I don't think we were looking for them either.
Yeah, what the fuck did we find, man?
I think people weren't like talking to each other about them, so they're a rare thing. They're not really studying them; they just come across them. No one was really putting the dots together, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess, but like it's sort of, so that must have been the beginning of the whole mass extinction theory thing, where when we've sort of tried to answer that question of how the dinosaurs got destroyed, we had to essentially that the meteoric impact or whatever, I guess, responsible. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Well, it's been given responsibility, whether it likes it or not. It's it killed the dinosaurs,
motherfucker.
And we talked last week about whether or not we're due for another hit, right? Are we due for another hit? Well, if the dinosaurs were still kicking around today, they'd be loving it.
We wouldn't be here.
No. That's
the sad thing. It's us or
we
them,
needed
right?
a lot of things to go right.
We should be celebrating that asteroid.
Celebrating that asteroid, because without it, we don't exist. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that should be like our
flag.
It cleared the niche for the shrew to evolve.
Yeah. No, we must have been pretty good at some point, man. We must have been pretty effective. Still are, I guess, but in a different way. Removed, let's say.
I wonder how effective... I was just wondering how effective we were. Obviously now.
Very. Yeah, very. Like, name an animal that's on every continent on Earth.
Yeah, true.
Is there any others?
I was just wondering if
ants are on every continent.
Oh, I think I think ants outweigh humans if you add all the ants up and all the humans up.
I've heard that's a thing. Yeah, you reckon that's still true, or you reckon we're killing them more now,
I
and
think
we've
that's
got a
true.
few more
No, we
people,
can't
and
wipe them out. Man,
got a few more
I just
people.
I drove back from Exmouth in one go, so
Yeah.
like 1,500 kilometers, and I
Yeah.
saw like virtually, very few people, until I got to Perth, and
Yeah,
all
but
that
you
way,
ants.
fucking ants. I'm sure they're everywhere. And then there's all these places the roads don't even go. Like there's just huge.
Yeah. I like it out there, man. I really like it out there. The people think the landscape, being, because I've been up north, flat, red, dirt for 6 hours, just the same thing. I fucking love it. It's great.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And Australia was way bigger back. During when the Aboriginals were dominating
60,
Australia. Yeah, like during that span, I don't know when, but the coastline was way out. Like I think Australia was a third bigger.
Wow.
And
Well,
I wonder
the
about
land
this, right?
bridge obviously was a thing, so there would have been
Yeah.
a link to Southeast Asia, and
But not all the way. There was always water at some point, and then that's the big question: how they made that.
That's amazing.
Pretty decent. I don't know how big it was when the sea levels was the lowest, but it was definitely you couldn't see the land. You had to.
Oh, right.
You had to go for it.
Wow.
A leap of faith.
It's frightening.
Also, so all those Aboriginal settlements, because obviously the coast is the place to be, right? We all know it.
Yeah, and not just here, but everywhere around the world where you have ancient civilizations, they would also build on the coastlines, 100%.
100%, right? You will have some people, obviously not everyone, but the majority of it. And so as the sea levels rise, you lose all that information.
Yep,
you lose all the. We've got sites and things, but imagine if you.
No, what you're saying is there'd probably be more. There'd be more that we're either unaware of or that are potentially underwater, I guess.
Oh, there'll be way more. I haven't read it, but Graham Hancock has a cool book called Underworld. That's about he. I don't know why. I haven't read the book. He was of the view that there was some evidence to suggest that there was a pretty decent civilization off Africa somewhere on the west coast, and there were stories of fishermen getting their like nets caught on like structures and things around that way.
That makes total sense.
And there was so it's about 5 kilometers off the coast. And they've sent some dive teams and stuff there. It was really hard to get it. Apparently it was difficult to get them get sort of the approval to begin with, the right people to want to do it. And there's all these what seem to be stone walls and things that are out there. I really want to read the book actually. I think it's regarded as a legit settlement now, but for a long time, of course, like all these things, they took a long time to get any traction.
Yeah,
it was considered fanciful, and now I understand it's mainstream. But the question is, when was that settlement from? Because he says the only time the sea levels, or the data suggests, should I say, that the only time when sea levels were that low would have been a long time ago. So his implication, as it always is that civilizations are way older than the mainstream suggests. So this obviously goes towards his. It's pretty compelling argument.
Well, just based on just saying the coastline thing alone, that most civilizations would settle on a coastline, and the sea levels have changed over the years, suggests that you would have lost settlements. A lot of them. Who knows? Who knows how many? I've always liked West Africa as like the cradle of civilization because it makes a lot of sense, man. Its proximity to Egypt and Greece and all of like Europe and stuff. Loved it. That Bright Insight video where he talks about the Eye of the Sahara, which is in Mauritania, is fascinating. Not just because it looks like concentric circles making an island like the Atlantean myth, right?
Yeah.
It's not just that, but the depiction of where it exists in the world, because there's a couple of things that Plato mentioned, which was that it was south of the what is
some
like
mountain range,
the Colossus of blah blah.
yeah,
No, not the Colossus. It was more like it's Gibraltar. There was a name for it. It was like Hercules something. Hercules is something is like the name for this area.
right,
And like everyone, when they think about the Atlantean myth, they go ocean or they go like Atlantic Ocean. Totally fine. I mean, yeah, Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, it's fine. Like makes sense. And like the whole notion that it sunk to the thing makes no sense at all. But the that it was taken by that it was as a result of climate change
yeah,
or a cataclysm was removed from history. That's fine for me. I'm totally on board with that. But the Mauritania site has the mountain ranges to the north, has evidence of ancient rivers, has proximity to Egypt, which is important to me because I think that there was influence there potentially
yep,
between this pre mainstream civilization to the current Egyptians of the time who were there. I've always liked that. And that Bright Inside video blew my mind when I first saw it. I was like, it's a lock. That's Atlantis. Fucking go dig it up. Let's go. And the fact that there's been no archaeological work done there pretty much ever is fascinating to me that they
yeah.
wouldn't have a look there. I mean, granted, it's not probably the easiest country to work in because, yeah, it'd be difficult. But I think he's since been there to the site and had a bit of a look around. I don't know if they've done any actual work there, man. I'd be fascinated to see that investigated at the very least. Yeah.
I hear there's other possibilities as well. I like that one. That one's the best. That one's crazy. I just don't
think it's the
understand
current
that the
best,
structure
yeah.
itself seems very unnatural.
And if they said if they discovered that it was man-made, it's almost a lock at that point. If they go, yeah, it is man-made, we're like, oh, wow, fuck, all right, GG, there it is.
There's some geologist. I don't know if he's a geologist or what his background is. That it's been on Joe Rogan a couple of times, and his name eludes me.
Not shock, right?
No, not him. But he reckons that he doesn't think that's the site, and thinks somewhere.
Yeah, he's probably got beef with Bright Insight. I don't know why, but they've probably got beef.
I can't remember why. He goes into it. He's done like full. He's done like a 20-hour podcast or something, setting out all the
reasons
stuff.
why.
Yeah, he's great though.
I'm sure
he's
he
so
knows
good.
what he's talking about.
He's
You're
very
talking
good.
about the dude with the beard.
Yes,
big beard.
yes, him. Yeah,
big beardy boy.
Yeah, big beardy boy.
His name eludes me right now, but I know the guy you're talking about.
And he thinks he thinks that Atlantis is likely to be somewhere, but he thinks it's more in the Southeast Asia region. I know it's a long way from Egypt and whatnot, but he has his reasons. He thinks that it fits the evidence we have for it and what's been said about it a lot better than the Eye of Africa one. But yeah,
okay,
I like them all. I like exploring.
Let's say if there was some sort of big cataclysm 14,000 years ago, because we have to reconcile the fact that their civilization went on during that time. It did continue because we have the first Australians who basically lived through that. If it did happen.
Yeah.
So you've got areas of the planet which are obviously fucked, got absolutely wrecked. So they've hypothesized an impact point for this 14,000 year ago theorized shot?
Yeah.
Is it in America somewhere? South America?
North America, like I think Canada.
Oh,
Canada,
really?
North America, yeah, the ice sheet.
Really?
The ice sheet's up there. And that's why there's no evidence, or that's why there's limited evidence there's no impact crater because it was in the ice sheet, but there's other evidence of an impact that have been left.
That's annoying.
All over. There's like these nanospheres or something that are created only from impacts, and they were scattered all through the region
I've seen
of Canada, North America, and Europe.
Amazing. Amazing.
And they reckon that created the flood myth, which permeates every
Yeah.
culture.
Major.
Every
Yeah. Yep.
isn't that weird, right? That
It's not that weird. It obviously happened.
all
It was big,
like
man.
there's
It was
like
big.
1,400 flood myths from all over the world. Everyone's got one. No one has a fucking drought myth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one goes, oh, there was an insane drought and everyone died except for Bruce, and Bruce and got some donkeys together and kept them around in Oasis, and Bruce restarted civilization. There's no everyone's. It's all floods. Everyone's got a flood.
Yeah. And maybe if we want to sort of explore this, the point about Australia a little bit further, the creation myth for a lot of indigenous cultures was the rainbow serpent going around and painting rivers with its tail, like moving around making rivers, right? That sounds to me like they got a slightly less version of the deluge. They didn't get the full whack because the other flood myths are, it was bad.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Everyone got wiped out. They're all fucking dead. Everything's dead. Here it was like we got some bodies of water and some beautiful rivers. I mean, I'm sure it was creation and destruction, just like it always is. But that's interesting to me that the flood myth is slightly different here in Australia.
Yeah.
That's
Man, what would it be like to live through a period when there was crazy change?
I think you should do your best not to think about that because that sounds traumatizing.
Like an apocalyptic type event.
Oh, yeah.
Where
people think about zombies, man. You don't need to go fanciful with it. Just say asteroid hits somewhere. But yeah, people like doing the zombie one. But yeah, you're right. That's a much more likely scenario is that we just get hit by something and everything turns off as a starting point. There's your starting point. Everything turns off.
Because things like climate change that we're experiencing now, or assuming we are, I'm all on board, of course. I'm on board with that. It's so gradual that, for example, I'm like, it's a threat. But in my lifetime, we might see over the course of my entire life, we'll see like a 2 to 3 degree warming, maybe, if that, probably less.
Yep.
And I agree that's a problem, but
massive.
It's a problem for the next generations, right?
Yeah,
you're
obviously not the kind of person who doesn't give a fuck about your fellow man, right?
Yeah, of course person. I don't. But I'm not going to experience future generations. What happened if it dropped? Because
we did too much.
What happens if it was a flood type situation where you literally have insane amounts of water released and insane climate change and sea level rise within your lifetime? It would just be
GG. Oh, that'd be awful. And occasionally on the news you'll see it, those beachside places being essentially claimed by the ocean, because they were built 50 years ago or whatever, 30 years. I don't know when they were built. They could be brand new, right? But the ocean's lapping on their door now, and it's coming. It's coming. It's to take everything eventually.
Better have a jetty.
We shouldn't need the threat of the water lapping against the door to just finally do something about it that's constructive. I mean, we've been talking about renewables for so many years now. It should be more or less it should be done by now. We should have fixed.
Australia should be leading the renewables charge. Hey, we've got wind.
Yeah. Well, actually, we talked about this recently. I'm not sure if it's on the podcast, but we talked about putting a nuclear power plant in the middle of Australia and powering the world and being like a power generator, like a big power plant, right? We're doing that. I think Forest has got like a plan to ship energy that is farmed by solar panels to Singapore. They're going to buy energy.
Let's do it.
Ready-made renewable energy.
I think he's right into hydrogen power as well. I don't fully understand hydrogen.
Water power. Well, not really. Hydrogen power. I mean, yeah, man. Well, they do H-bombs, right? We do.
We're dropping heaps of money. We're trying to set ourselves up for a bit of a hydrogen economy here in WA, and I'm like, I need to sort of get my head around it.
We're going to need some water. Probably, right? Separate the oxygen out. You got hydrogen, right? Done. Comes out of the tap. Comes out of the tap.
And also, it's the first element created in the universe. You know, there's lots of it. It was all hydrogen and helium.
Oh my God.
Stick with the original.
So helium's pretty important then. It's not just the one that makes your voice go funny.
That's its primary purpose.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Primary function is for comedy.
Yeah, and then
And
the
balloons.
formation of stars after that.
No, the second one is balloons.
Oh,
Like
balloons!
birthday
of course.
balloons, get well soon
Everybody
balloons.
loves balloons.
Yeah, those foil ones.
But you care about, you want at the end of your life to leave plant a tree that, other people will have the pleasure of that shade. There's an old proverb that I just butchered, but that's essentially the gist.
Have you thought about what you're going to do with your? You don't have a will, I assume.
Yeah. Got a will.
Do you?
No, but I should. Right, I definitely should.
Oh, wait, hold that thought on wills. I'll go back to that, but this just reminded me. You know, we were talking about whether I was an organ donor or not.
Yeah, are you?
Well, I tried to find out. So
Yeah.
I just typed in like organ donor registry WA.
Yeah.
I go to some website and it says, yeah, put in your details and we'll let you know if you're on the list. And so I put in my details, click submit, and it goes, thank
You're
you
on the
for
list.
becoming an organ donor.
Oh my God! You just got scammed out of your organs, bro.
I know. I just got scammed. I was
got
like,
scammed out of your organs, bro. You clicked the button. You said,
but then I went back and I was like, I went back to the website and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what? I didn't know I was signing up. And it says, type in your details. We'll check if I didn't read it all right. Classic.
We'll check if you're
classic
on it.
lawyer
If
behavior.
you're not.
And if you're not, we'll add you.
Oh my God.
I got scammed, and it's not like you can
Oh
unsubscribe.
my God.
I don't know if I have to call them but I mean, no, I'm happy. I wanted to be an organ donor. I was just checking if I was on the list.
Oh, that's so fucked up, bro. Read the fine print, everybody. If you're listening, read the
Do
fine
yourself
print.
a favor, yeah.
Do the research.
They scammed the lawyer.
They've scammed a lawyer.
They outlawyered me.
They can get you too. They're coming for your organs. They want them tomorrow. Yeah. Oh man, you need to destroy your organs so that they will just go, oh no, this is not worth.
Yeah, I need to.
You don't need to do that. You need to give
I
someone
need
an organ.
to get toxins in me. I need to be
No,
they come knocking, they need to see
no.
syringes and just alcohol all over the house.
No, you've done a great thing. You may have saved a life. You may have saved someone's life.
But back to wills. I don't have a will. You don't have a will.
You should have a will.
I want a will just so I can specify what happens to my body.
So that's in the will, is it?
Yeah, well, you can do that. But have you thought about what you want to happen? Like most people get cremated.
Wow.
It's cheaper.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do something that's going to just be, maybe. I think I'll probably want to be put on display for a week or two in some sort of, I don't know, glass.
I definitely
cabinet.
don't want to be a cadaver.
No, glass cabinet. Chuck me in a glass cabinet.
So you're like an alien, like if you get an alien specimen, they put them in, they'd lay you out and put you in the liquid and
preserve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want that.
I think I want to be buried, like you were saying, under a tree or something. Because maybe I become the tree.
You want to keep living?
In a different form. Yeah, I want to experience it.
You don't want to just, when I
keep living, I'm not going to be experiencing the same consciousness.
No, you'll be one with the tree. But what makes you think the tree wants to hang out with you, man, after you've had a long and fruitful human life? What makes you think the tree's going to... I guess it wants you. It does want you. It wants your nutrients, bro.
Maybe I'll eat a bunch of seeds, right?
Mm.
And then I immediately get buried. And then the seeds grow out of my body.
Yeah. Okay, then you'll live forever, but you're a tree. You might hate it. After the first week, you might be pretty bored of it and go, yeah, bit of wind.
Sun. I think it'd feel good. I think plants look like they're having a great time.
Yeah, maybe they are. Except in storms, man. They've got to think about your first storm. They're
built for that. They're built for it.
Yeah, I hope you will be.
A bushfire would be tough.
A nice strong tree. I do hope.
A bushfire,
To answer your
would be
question-
difficult to have to deal with that situation.
Oh
That would
yeah,
be
That's
traumatic.
gonna be awful. That's gonna be awful. But from that becomes regeneration again. You get to regenerate, maybe come back stronger.
Wow. So my carbon gets dispersed into the atmosphere, and then I'm rained into a sweet river, and then maybe I become a fish or something.
Maybe you go into a seal and you get whacked around by some fucking orcas, bro.
No, but then I become the orca, right? See, this is next level thinking, Val.
Yeah, but I don't know about you, but I don't like imagining all the previous things I've eaten just living on inside me.
Man, I think about that all the time.
Yeah, well, it's a transfer of its life force, isn't it?
Well,
If you eat a tree, if you eat some lettuce or something,
But think about, do you when you pick up a bottle of water, do you ever, like, you look at the water and you don't think that's you, right?
It's not me.
It's not you.
I've never looked at a bottle of water and thought it's me, though.
But then it becomes you.
No, not really.
It does. It gets integrated. It becomes a part of you.
I don't know about that.
And then how is that water now? All the cells in your body get replaced every 7 years. I understand.
Yes. Okay. I'll accept that without knowing.
So you take in, you ingest these materials, which you're saying are not you. They become you.
Yeah, but I
You're
don't
not
know.
the same. I don't think you have the
I draw
same.
the line at my brain. Yeah, I'm my brain. If I
Do those cells get replaced? Because they say your brain cells are not replaced, but I think there's still repair going on, and the molecules themselves, I think, are replaced, but the cells remain, I think, living. I don't know.
Yeah, look,
I'm asking the wrong person.
Yeah, because I would never. You drink a whiskey, and the whiskey has become a part of you, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that,
You are what you eat. That old chestnut.
Yeah, okay, I like it. I like it when those old phrases sort of come back at you. Yeah. Well, you've just done it then, haven't you? I can't argue with old phrases because they're old phrases for a reason. There's cliches that cliches for a reason. Good talk, man.
Yeah,
I think we covered all the major topics. What did we talk about? We talked about some. We talked about sharks. Talked about a bit about Australia. James Webb.
Do it, then, isn't it? Talked about the 80K run.
Oh man, you're a psycho. I still can't believe you did that. Thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Send us an email. Got the email
down. Is it the Gmail or the mail?
It's mail.
It's mail. What is it for all those viewers?
vacuousperspective@mail.com.
Too easy.
See you next time.